What is demand? Demand is how much of a good or service consumers are willing and able to buy at a specific price. It can be represented graphically by this red line. This is the demand equation. D is equal to alpha minus beta x. Now, what is supply? Supply is a total amount of a specific good or service that is available for consumers at a specific price. This is the supply equation. It can also be represented graphically by this red line. Now, what is elasticity? Also known as price elasticity of demand. Elasticity is a measure of how sensitive the quantity demanded is to a change in price. It is a change in the quantity demanded over a percentage change in the price. It can also be calculated using this equation. The beta that you see on the elasticity equation is the same beta that you see on the demand equation. Okay, now that we know that background of demand, supply, and elasticity, let us now see how we can tackle a problem concerning demand, supply, and elasticity. First of all, I want to explain to you that in that video, we explained that the demand equation comes in this form A. This form, D stands for demand. And then this symbol alpha, how am I going to write it? Sorry. Yes. This one. And then you have this symbol alpha. This is a Greek symbol. So this symbol alpha, and then beta, this is also a symbol, and then I showed this as a demand equation. Yeah, this is just a representation of the demand equation. If you want, you can write it like this. Demand is equal to just A minus B P, if you want. The reason I've put P here is because P stands for price. P stands for price and D stands for demand. So there is a relationship between price and demand. This equation shows a relationship between price and demand. So I just wanted to clarify on that equation which you saw in the slideshow that I showed you. So D stands for demand. A it just stands for how much demand you would get if the price was 0. Yes. And then this is how much demand you would get depending on the price, and then P is the price. So this is the demand equation. And then I also showed you that supply is equal to that, and then alpha plus plus beta, and then this y. Yeah, so this S stands for supply, and then this Y also stands for price. There is a relationship between supply and price as well. So I just wanted to clarify on this. Now let us see how we can solve equations. Let me just rub this. Just rub this. All right. So now, okay. So say you have this demand equation. This demand equation. By the way, lecturers, they do not always bring things easy. What I'm showing you is a demand equation. This demand equation, where you have P stands for price, and then Q. This is a demand equation. This is the demand equation, guys. This is the demand equation. They will not always put the demand here. They can just put price here. They will not put always put the demand here. They can just put price. This is a demand equation. And then you also have the supply equation. Yes, here they cannot always put S. It's just price. So just know that even when they put S here or D here, it's just price, which is supposed to be here, P. So you have P is equal to 2 plus to Q. Yes. And then they ask you to find the price that consumers are willing to pay, and also the quantity that consumers are willing to buy. So they're asking you to find P and also find Q. So what can you do? Well, what you should know is that what they are looking for here is the price at equilibrium. That is the price which consumers are willing to pay, and also the quantity which producers are willing to sell. So the price that consumers are willing to pay, and also the quantity that producers are willing to sell. Meaning that this price and this price, the price in the demand equation and the price in the supply equation should be equal, and also the quantity in the demand equation and also the quantity in the supply equation should be equal, because this is a price at which consumers are willing to buy, and it's the same price at which producers are willing to sell a good. And also it's a quantity that producers are willing to sell, and also it's the same quantity that consumers are willing to buy. So when they ask you find P and Q, they are just asking you to find the price for both the demand equation and the supply equation. We'll do a graphical representation of this for you to understand this properly. So this is basically a simultaneous equation. We want to find P and Q for both equations. So what can you do? So if you want, you can get this supply equation, and then you put it in P here, you substitute in P, whichever. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the demand equation, and then I'm going to put it where there is P in the supply equation. Let me just show you that this is a demand equation. Sorry, this is bad handwriting on the computer. Anyway, I'll just put S here. Okay, supply. Yes. So I'm going to get the demand equation. P is equal to 44 minus 5Q, and then I'm going to get this guys, and then I'm going to take it in P in the supply equation. That's why I'm going to take it, so that I find P and then I find Q. So this is what you can do. So here where there is P, you put 44 minus 5Q is equal to is equal to 2 plus so now it's easier for us to find. So what we're going to do, we are going to find Q. So what you do, remember in algebra we collect the like terms together. So you have 44, then have 2 equals 5Q plus, so here you have 42, oh sorry, not 42, no 42, it's not 42, no it is 42, I haven't just written it properly. The handwriting on the computer is very bad. I hope you can get this, guys. 42 then you have 7Q, then you divide both sides by 7, get that, then this is, that's Q. And then 42 divided by 7, you'll get 8. You will get 8. No, is it 8? No, you get 6. You get 6. So what's your quantity? Your quantity is 6. So you have found that one. Your quantity is 6. Now you want to find the price at this same quantity 6. So what do? Well, since we have our quantity 6, you can get either the supply equation or the demand equation, and then you just get this 6 and then you plug it in any one of these equations. So let me just get the supply equation. So we have 12 and then what? 14. So the price is 14. So the price is 14. That is what we have found when the quantity is 6. So you can represent this graphically now. So you have this. This graph shows the relationship between price and quantity. See, as price increases, the demand decreases. I mean, if prices are increasing, of course you will demand less and less. That is why the demand is always sloping downwards. It slopes downwards. It slopes downwards. And then this is different for supply. For supply, as price increases, the quantity increases. So the supply curve slopes upwards. And then here is where the price and quantity are equal. It's called equilibrium. This is where you have the price which consumers are willing to buy at, and also the price which producers are willing to sell at a quantity. So when we solve this demand and supply equations, let me just label this. In this case, let me just label this is a supply equation, which is equal to 2 plus Q. Then this is the demand equation. Actually, yeah, you can actually solve for these equations to plot the graph. So here the price, what did we find? The price was 14. The price was 14, and then the quantity was 6. So when they ask you to represent this graphically, what you should do is this. You should remember supply is going starts from somewhere. So we just put it here. So here at this point, when quantity is 44, when say quantity is 0 here in the demand equation, let me just show you like this using this box. You can use this box. Make this box when you want to make a graph. So this for the demand. If you look at the demand equation, on the demand equation we have P is equal to 44 minus 5Q. So if if the quantity is 0, then what is the price? Then the price is 44. So you put 44 here. 44. Because down here the price is 0. So if the price down here the quantity is 0. So if the quantity is 0, it will mean that the price is going to be 44. And then what if the price is 0? When the price is 0, in the demand equation, you're going to have 44 minus Q 5Q. You're going to have 44. You're going to take 44 to the other side. Then you have 5Q. So that you get to have 5. You get to have 5 here. Then what's Q according to the demand equation? 44 divided by 5, that will give you 8. So when the price price here, when the price here is 0, then the quantity is going to be 8.8. That's Q is equal to 8.8 when you divide 44 divide by 5. So, and then you connect these 2 points, 8.8 and 44. That will give you, when you connect these points, that will give you the demand, the graph for the demand. You can also do this same calculation for the supply. Let me show you. So if you have supply, let me wrap this to have some space. Okay, so I've showed you how you can make the graph for the demand. Let me just show you now how you can make the graph for the supply. So you have the supply, which was 2. Just 2. So now suppose P is 0, then what are you going to have? Suppose P is 0, then what you are going to have, you're going to take you're going to have 2Q and then 2 this side. So what's going to happen, 2 here, 2 here, then your quantity is going to be 1. It's going to be 1. What is our quantity? Wait, no, sorry, I made a mistake. See, you are here. To Q. Yes, now these are positive, so when this 2Q goes to the other side, it's going to be negative. So you have 2, then Q, then you're going to have negative 1. So what is Q? Q is negative 1. So suppose you were to draw this line further, then our negative 1 is going to be here, somewhere here. This is where the supply starts from. And then suppose now if 2 was 0, then what is going to be, if this Q was 0, then what is going to be P? Well, 2 multiplied by Q0 is just going to be P is just going to be equal to 2. P is just going to be equal to 2 because Q is 0. Q is going to be 0, so P is just going to be equal to 2. So here you have 2. Here you have 2. So, and then you connect these 2 points, this one and this one, and then just go up. You see that the supply is sloping upwards. Yes. So guys, this is what I wanted to show you. I hope it was helpful. Now, just before I end, let me show you now how you can solve elasticity. I just wanted to show you this on demand. Now let me show you how you can solve elasticity. Suppose this same question, they ask you now, find the elasticity of demand. Let me clear some space. All right. Okay. Now suppose you have been asked to find the elasticity of demand, which is can be represented by this E and a small d to represent demand. How can you solve that? Remember the equation. This is equal to negative 1 over b multiplied by p over q. P over q. So what is our b? Our b is 5. Our b is 5. Always remember that the b comes from the demand equation. It doesn't come from the supply equation. It comes from the demand equation. So how do we solve this? So we have our elasticity is equal to negative 1 over 5. Negative 1 over 5. And then what's our p? Our p, we found it to be 14. Remember, we found p to be 14. And then 6. This dot here is a multiplication sign. Negative 1 over 5 multiplied by 14 over 6. So what do you get when you have this? So negative 1 over 5 multiplied by 14 over 6. So you get 14 over, that's negative 14 over 5 multiplied by 6. What are you going to get? You're going to get 30. Is there any number that can enter 30 and 14? So let's see. Yes, there is a number that can enter 14 and 30, and that is 2. So you have negative 7 over so negative 7 over 14 is our elasticity of demand. So guys, this is what I wanted to show you concerning price, elasticity of demand, and supply. You'll find a lot of these questions, especially when you're doing business mathematics. And if you're doing economics, you'll find it even in economics there, because if as a business student or an economic student, you should know demand and supply and how to calculate it. So you find a lot of questions in many books. So I suggest that you practice as much as possible those questions so that you understand how you can solve demand, supply, and elasticity questions. This was just to help you understand demand and supply and elasticity. So guys, thank you for watching and see you next time.